everybody. Welcome back to the Latched Mama podcast. It is Monday morning here in Richmond, Virginia. I believe we launch our podcast on Tuesday, so it's probably Tuesday or another day when you guys are listening. But we are here in the warehouse today, and Lindi and I are just going to chat a little bit about life, Latched Mama, Thanksgiving, new babies, all the fun stuff. So, hope you guys enjoy it. You're listening to the Latched Mama podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Wirt, business owner and tired mom of 5. Join us each week as we talk about pregnancy, nursing, parenting, and all things motherhood. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I like this because we haven't really seen each other yet today. So we can just catch up on life.
It's been a Monday.
Oh, it's been Monday.
It's been a Monday.
How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah.
Anything exciting going on besides trying to get all of the clothes here for Black Friday?
Yes, we have a lot of clothes coming. No, just the normal, like from the weekend into the kids' stuff, into the Mondays,
It's
back into the school. It's just always a transition.
It's no joke. No joke. No matter whether you have 6, my baby's pooping. Hey, buddy, did you wait until we started the podcast to do this? It's still coming.
It's still going.
Hold,
please.
Still, good job, babe. Good job. So yeah, no, it's crazy. It's nutty. The weather's changing, which I don't love, especially with kind of COVID still around.
Yeah.
And
there's going to be a couple nice days this week.
Really?
Like 73 on Thursday.
That's nice.
I know, but it's still relatively
My boys
cold.
are camping in a tent tonight. We're going to see how that goes. Alex is determined not to wear his long underwear. And I explained to him that he can't die. Like, dying is not an option from like hypothermia. It's going to be like 30 tonight. And I'm like, Alex, you're going to want to wear.
From your perspective, or like technically if you don't wear them, like you won't die? Like,
well, no. Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know like when hypothermia like kicks in.
So
and like he has a 5-degree sleeping bag,
okay.
I think.
Yeah. He'll be good. He's going to be all good.
But he thinks he can sleep in his sleep shorts, which are the only time the kid wears shorts is when he sleeps. But the only time when the other one wears pants is when he sleeps, because children are literally put on this planet to make us crazy. Literally, the 9-year-old will not wear pants unless he is sleeping. And the 7-year-old will not wear shorts unless he is sleeping.
Yeah, my oldest won't wear. He will only wear performance feeling shorts and t-shirts. And then Gabe will only wear 100% cotton, like the t-shirts. And joggers. He will not wear shorts.
See?
So, at least they know whose clothes are whose. That does help. But yeah.
And then I have the 5-year-old daughter who's going on like 13, who ties her shirts up as midriffs every single day of my life. I'm like, if you're doing this at 5, what is 12 and 13 going to look like?
Yeah.
Like, can I send her to like a convent now? Like, I don't really know. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Nora came down the other day and she's like doing this little like apparently like this little TikTok dance, I guess. And I'm like, where you learn that? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'd like to know. That would be great.
Like what you're watching.
And then Nellie, every time, that same thing as Caroline. Can you tie a knot in this? I'm like, well, why do you need a knot in it? And I'm like, this is not one you tie a knot. Like, I can't tie a knot.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah. Anyways.
I think this is coming out on Thanksgiving week. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
We're going to eat with my mom.
And then you're going to come over to my house in the evening.
And then I'm going to come over and hang out and eat your leftover desserts or something.
Yes.
You had like all kinds of good stuff last time.
I cooked last year. I don't think I'm going to cook this year. I have a 4-week-old. I don't think I'm going to cook.
You cater it?
I tried.
You've done the catering before.
Well, I've tried.
And Wegmans?
No, I've done Wegmans. I've done U-Crops. I've done Elwood's. Elwood's was probably really good for me, but it didn't taste like Thanksgiving. It tasted like,
okay, you need like the good stuff.
Grown on a farm like down the road, and they forgot like the real butter, and it was like vegan butter or something. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with vegan stuff, but it did not taste like Thanksgiving.
No, if I'm going to eat like the sweet potato casserole, it's going to be my mother-in-law's that has like, I don't know, 3 cups of brown sugar plus regular sticks of butter plus like the layer of marshmallows and like all like and they're not just the sweetened like what are they on top? Like walnuts or something? They're like the candied
pecans,
ones.
Like the candied
yes.
pecans or something. Pecans.
I mean, it's a straight up dessert. But like if I'm going to eat
pecans?
it. Oh gosh.
What do you say?
Probably pecans.
Pecans. I don't know.
Pecans.
Pecans.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. I should probably figure it out.
Will people come to you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I figured. No, I'm glad you are staying there.
I come to the office and that's about it. And Target pickups have been like my postpartum, like saving grace.
Yeah.
You know, in those like tearful, like first few weeks, I would just go drive to Target and pick up whatever I needed. Well, I don't think I ever really needed anything.
Yeah.
But
I'm feeling a little hurt. I didn't get that experience.
You didn't get the Target pickup
I had no pickup experience with infants. So I'm glad you have that.
I remember like when I first had like 1 to 2, maybe, I would dream of being able to go pull up in front of a grocery store at like 2 or 3 p.m. and grab what I needed for dinner.
Yeah.
Instead of pulling them into the
you had to take them into the, or I had to go by myself like at night. Which I thought was like the coolest thing back then. Oh my gosh, no. Like I don't want to go grocery shopping at all now.
I don't think I have like done a full grocery shopping list in like 2 years.
Okay, I don't know if you were the one who told me this, but I had to go into Walmart the other day to pick up something for a school project because it was like last minute, of course, right?
Like down the aisles.
Like Lennox is like, yeah, I kind of need this. He needed something for Spanish. They were making like these little dolls or something. So I needed like pipe cleaner. It was something in the craft section. I'm like, well, I'll just run in.
Why didn't you just have Michael's deliver it?
I should have, but I was like on my way home and I don't know. I guess I had a burst of energy. Anyway, so I went in there and then I was
Lindi,
like,
who does not drink coffee.
I know.
It's insane.
I was like, I need eggs. Let me just go grab eggs. So then I start
going
around.
To the farm?
No, hold
come
on.
To the farm and
just
get
hold.
Eggs.
Listen.
What?
So I'm there and I'm like, that's not on Walmart online. That's not an option. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh, I felt very gypped. Like there are only online options. They don't have everything online. Like I found a whole variety pack of like the Chobani flips that my kids like. I couldn't find any of this stuff online. And they told me 3 days ago there was no shredded cheese. There was an entire wall of shredded cheese. So maybe it was the shopper. Maybe it was the online stock. I don't know. I was like,
do you really think people
a little
tuned
disappointed
into the podcast to hear about our
but now they know. Now they know they can
actually go shop and get other stuff.
Believe me, I'm not going to go again. I will just purchase what they offer me online. But yeah, I was like, not all this stuff is online.
Can we talk about the grandiose message here of simplifying motherhood? Because I feel like there's so many ways that we can like lower all of our expectations of ourselves if we just take the time to figure it out. Like the whole Walmart thing. Yes, it takes a little while to download the app. Pay the $99 to have it delivered for the year, but holy moly, once you do, it is fantastic. And for an extra $10 you can choose at 3:00 what you eat for dinner that night. Like when you're postpartum or newly pregnant and you don't know what you want to eat ever, you can decide right before the meal what you want to eat, and they can bring you the ingredients.
I know. And I went back and forth for months on Instacart because I was like, do I really need it? I've used that probably almost the same amount as Walmart.
Yeah.
And then there's also Costco and Instacart. I mean, it's like well worth $100 because
my Costco order was so expensive on Saturday. But you know what? It's so nice because I feel like I would spend $100 more because like the tip is not cheap when it's like a huge family and we're like kind of locked in right now just trying to survive with a new baby. But I would spend an extra $100. I know. Going down the aisles that I don't even look for on Instacart. Like I always need new Pyrex dishes and I always need silverware and I always need new pens and
those cozy socks and maybe a blanket.
Yeah. See, you always can spend an extra $100, but when you're ordering from the app, it's less. So everybody, it's okay.
Seriously.
Yes. It's okay to have other people do your shopping for you.
I had to talk my sister-in-law into it because she was like, just really cautious about where she wanted to spend money and whatnot. And I'm like, it's $100. And I'm like, but it is so well worth it. Cause she was trying to figure out when she could get to the store. She had to the kids. And I'm like, why are you going?
Why are you going?
Like, why are you going?
Why
it's
are
literally
you leaving
like
your house? You don't need to anymore.
$10 a month and it'll come right to your doorstep. And then
Yeah.
she did it like twice, and she's like, "Thank you so much for making me spend $100."
It's
and I'm like,
so,
"You're welcome."
So nice.
Yeah. So worth
other
it.
things that I have discovered. Okay.
Wait, where at Costco?
No,
or?
just like in
Oh,
life
motherhood
over like
things.
the
Okay.
last like 4 weeks.
Yes.
Like other motherhood
I
hacks.
was like, "Ooh, tell me more Costco food."
Oh, you know what we discovered? So there's a pasta dish that they make.
Pre-made?
That's really, really good.
Not the Alfredo.
No, it's a
Okay.
little bit lighter than that. It's like penne and sausage and a white wine sauce maybe, and has like grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes
It was
in it.
good.
The kids loved it too,
Oh.
which was really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to look for that. Try it.
Okay.
Okay.
Other things. So it took me a lot of children, and I don't think it was around at the beginning of my childhood journey 10 years ago, but I got one of the new Hatch lights. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know the brand.
It's the Hatch Rest.
Okay.
So apparently I'm really, really like slow to the show because apparently
It sounds and
so
or just like
so it's a white noise machine, and it's a night light, and it's a clock.
okay.
And I have this moment after every birth, because I have my babies at home, and most of them have been at night. This one was in the day, so this moment didn't happen. But where it just stinks, because like you want to go to bed, you get tucked in with your baby, it's like time to rest, to snuggle, but there has to be a light on. And sometimes when it's like the middle of the night, you're like, oh, I don't really want a light on. And I always remember like going from the year of not having to sleep with a nightlight because the other baby's sleeping in its own room or whatever,
Yep.
to suddenly having to have a light on in the room. So I really enjoy having a light that's not white. Having a little bit of a softer
a
color
softer.
that gives enough light to be able to see where your baby is and
Yeah.
stuff, and to latch your baby.
So it's
but
really
not
low.
enough. Yeah. So what's cool about it, and this is not sponsored by Hatch at all, I just think it's really cool, is you can control it from your phone. So you can change the color from your phone, and you can change the sound. So it's like all different white noise sounds and stuff. You can change it from your phone, and you can make the light brighter, or you can make it dimmer,
That's
or
really
you can make it any
cool.
color, or you can change the sound, and you
Yeah.
can make it higher, or you can make it lower. And I've used it so much the last 4 weeks. Like it's been really, really, really cool. I don't know.
That
Like,
is
and I thought
really
like
cool.
grabbing your phone in the middle of the night was a pain, but when you're pumping or you're feeding your baby, the phone's right there.
Yeah.
But like if I wanted to check his latch, because I was awake enough to check his latch,
Yeah.
I could turn the light up. The light was across the room, but I could take my phone and I could make it brighter. Or if it was one of those kind of like dream feeds that we were both doing, I could keep the light where it was. Or if he was super fussy and I had tried everything, I could flip it to actual white noise and turn it way up, and
And you don't have to get
do
up
that
to
whole
do
thing,
it.
and you don't have to get up to do it.
That is really
Which is
cool.
really, really cool. And it's one less thing on my nightstand, because my nightstand is a hot mess right now.
Yeah, because you can put it far away.
You
'cause
can
it's
put it
connected
far
to your
away
phone.
because it's connected to your phone. Way, way cool. And I think it's also a monitor too, but we haven't gotten there yet.
That's
But
really neat.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So put it on your list if you're looking for like one of those like baby things that it's been kind of life changing.
That's
It's been one
awesome.
of those like really, really like I appreciate type of things. It's really hard after 6 babies and 10 years to like find something new in the motherhood space that you really enjoy. Like
Yeah.
the Haka came out like halfway through my breastfeeding like journey.
Mm-hmm.
Still not really into it. I'm struggling to use it a little bit. I would almost much rather stick the pump on the other side. And I know the whole purpose of it is that you're not like actively engaging
Just to collect.
the sucking. You're actually just getting the letdown, which
Maybe when you're not, like, because you're still sometimes like actually wanting to collect.
yeah.
Maybe when you're not doing that anymore, you may
Hi, bud.
want to throw it on.
Passy.
Yeah, because I could see how now it's almost a third thing to think about.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
it's just it's not. I mean, there are moments in the middle of the night where I'll put it on to collect it because I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
Because like in our little breastfeeding journey, it's been liquid gold, every single drop of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, some people swear by it, but I don't think I have the
Yeah.
supply that gets like the 3 ounces on one side with the Haka just from the letdown.
Wow.
While
Yeah.
you're feeding on one side. I mean,
That's
you
a
see some
lot.
of these Hakas, and I don't know if they've just been being used all day or like multiple feedings, but there
Yeah.
are some with like a significant amount of milk in them, which is really, really impressive to me.
But even for a baby who's can really remove much better than anything else, that does remove better than anything else, to get 3 ounces out of a Haack, like you must be a very, very good producer.
Yeah.
Because that's not even much of a suction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. But it's been such a different experience. It's so funny. Were all of your kids different? Like all their breastfeeding? You just peed all over me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Literally. Seriously? Dude, I love you so much, but you've pooped and peed all in one podcast episode.
He wanted to participate. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think back kind of how I was very different with each journey too. So
yeah,
they probably could have been similar and I kind of changed a little bit, or
yeah.
I don't know.
It's so interesting how like, it's funny. There was a post in the Latched Mama Love group last night. Somebody had just shown like a picture of herself and she was like, this is what motherhood looks like. And she had been spit up on or whatever. And I posted a picture of just supervising bath time and being absolutely exhausted by Sunday evening, because weekends are no joke when you have a lot of children and very little help. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of children and very little help during the week too. But for us, running a company and managing the kids and being very postpartum is a hot mess for the weekends. But somebody else wrote, they said in the group, they were like, I'm appreciating every moment because it took me so long to get pregnant. And I had this like realization that I'm like, do I appreciate it less because I have so many kids? Like, I don't know. It was like this deep dive into like, should I be enjoying it more? Or is it okay to be realistic with yourself that like, it's tough, you know? I mean, it gave me a little bit of perspective because I don't feel like I'm wishing away any of these moments, but I also know that it gets better. Like there are some parts that are super hard right now that I know get better, but there are some parts that are easier now that get harder later. I don't know. Like, do you ever feel like you wished away certain stages that you knew would get easier or better?
Yeah, I definitely have, to be honest. But then when you really think about it, I really don't, you know, but I try to think back, and there are some times where actually I can't even remember. And I really do think that it plays into how that postpartum journey was and how bad I was struggling at times.
Yeah.
I think you kind of tune some of the things out. But if you ask me, no, I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I think I'm where I am today with the relationship I have with each kid because of what we've been through, because of what we've worked on. Was it incredibly, incredibly hard at times? Like, absolutely. But I don't think that means I didn't, you know, I don't know. I just feel it's okay not to love every moment. And it's okay to, at times, hope for some change and have that hope that it's going to get a little bit easier for me and a little bit better. But I do agree with you when you said it was nice to see a perspective and acknowledge that perspective. But I still think it's okay to feel what you're feeling and go through what you're going through.
Like, I know without the realization that I'm emotionally going to balance back out again, hopefully. I mean, I assume I will, because it has happened every other time and I have the support that I need to. And I feel so much better now at 4 weeks than I did at 2 weeks. But without that, I feel like I would be in a completely different place right now without the optimism, knowing that this stuff works itself out and that things do get easier. I don't know if I would have as much optimism and strength to put like one foot in front of the other every day and to say, hey, if I go for a walk today, it's probably going to make me feel better because it made me feel better this pregnancy and this pregnancy. You know, like there are things that I think that we take from each place to say, hey, this is really hard and this is why it's hard. You know, I had gotten used to, it's funny because, you know, you watch all the kids come into the world and, you know, my last few have been well out of the bed by the time that the next sibling arrives. And I've reached this point where I can't always eat dinner every night because of like the chaos, or if he's hungry, I'm nursing him, and it's just a lot. But then also he comes to bed and he nurses in bed and he falls asleep on me, beside me, wherever. But I can't extricate myself to go eat again. So it's like these little moments where I'm like, oh, this is going to be the months to come. Like, this is my life. Like, I'm under a sleeping baby for a really long time going forward. Like, I've lost my opportunity to have my late night bowl of cereal, or like go to the bathroom, or like have any time, for myself, which is interesting. But I remember with my first couple, I didn't know if that was ever going to come back. Like, was I ever going to even, like, it's not like, am I ever going to run a marathon again? Like, am I ever going to go out to dinner with friends? Am I ever not going to have to nurse through a meal? It's literally, am I going to be able to ever go to the bathroom again? I mean, alone, I still don't get to go to the bathroom alone with 6 kids. But, like, am I ever going to be able to go get the pizza chocolate cake from the refrigerator after all of my kids go to bed, or watch, something that's not appropriate for children or something, And it's so nice to know that those moments are going to come back. But I remember having 1 or 2 and wondering if they ever, if it does get better.
No, I totally understand.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's, and but like you're saying, it's, you can see this and you kind of had those feelings, but then again, this is kind of a stage, it's kind of a time. And it will change a little bit, or settle into maybe a little bit more of a routine for a little bit, and then it'll change again. And maybe you're able to kind of like adapt and fit in a couple things, or that kind of thing.
It's so cool how each of them teach us things, though, and like that is the coolest thing. I mean, I'm 99.8% sure that we're done having kids. But I can tell you that the idea that each pregnancy and each birth and each postpartum teaches you things. It's a hard thing as somebody who really, really likes to grow and change and learn and be the best human being I possibly can be in life, to let go of the idea that process is never going to happen again, because it does change you and because it does make you grow. And, as I've talked about a lot in this podcast, my babies, I have the great opportunity of having really easy-ish childbirth experiences, which is awesome. And it wasn't that I've stopped learning through that experience, but it was probably getting a little monotonous. But his postpartum, he's had really, really slow weight gain, which I know because you have walked this road with me the past few weeks. But it's really interesting to learn what that does to somebody who's used to succeeding and used to this stage being easy-ish. It was eye-opening. It was an experience that, it's not that I don't wish it on anybody else, but it was hard. It was hard to figure out. It was hard to figure out what the right solution was, knowing what I knew. But it was way cool. I think we're on the other side of it at this point, but it's really fun to kind of look back on it. Not that there's much to look back on, but really learn where I can grow as an individual and like what they're each teaching us. Like, and he'll always be the one that teaches me that I have to trust other people, and that, when somebody says, hey, he's okay, but let's try this, I don't doubt them. I just lean into the fact, hey, he's okay. He's going to be okay. Let me just put a smile on my face and keep trying this, as opposed to being in that crazy postpartum land where I, tried to research everything that was wrong with him. So I don't know. But they all teach us,
Yeah. I mean, I knew you would figure it out. But I also think it was interesting. I was kind of sitting from the outside, and I'm like you are so experienced. You know how this all works.
And you've done it
so many times. Yeah. You run a company that's 100% supports breastfeeding.
You want to talk about what in mind?
I want to see how is this going to challenge you mentally as well? Like, is it okay? Like, she's recommend
to pump. So, no. The formula word came up quite a bit.
That's where I was like,
with my midwife, and she's like, hey, I mean, just feed them and then we can do an ounce of formula. It's not a big deal. And at that point, I was kind of at the point where I was like, my baby needs to gain weight. Formula is not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. We're going to be okay. Yep. He takes a bottle beautifully. Like, if that's what it comes to, mm-hmm. I'm completely fine with it. But then you have this like mind shift where you're like, I run one of the largest lactation communities on Facebook.
That was like
and we're gonna. I'm sure we'll do a full podcast on this. But holy moly, if that is not a humbling experience of, so does this mean I'm failing? What is what do the optics of this mean? Like, I mean, the optics mean that we do what we need to do for our babies and we adjust to whatever's happening in our body. But how many times I've told people, hey, it's just the supply and demand. Shut your door, feed your baby, pump, remove the milk, and you'll start making more milk and your baby will learn and get stronger. Yeah. Okay. I will never, ever say that to somebody again, because although that is the science behind it, you remove the milk, your body should make more milk. There are other aspects to it that need to be considered. You need to be eating, you need to be drinking. You also need to realize when you're trying to create more milk and you're trying to make your body make more milk, that normal day 3, day 5, whatever day your milk comes in, hormonal drop that you get when your milk comes in, if you're stimulating your body to make more milk, you're stimulating those same hormones again, which literally brought me to like my knees, like to the point where I shut my bedroom door and I was like, I have to make more milk, but I don't know how, and how is my body going to do this, and is it going to work, and what is it going to mean if I have to take donor milk or formula? And I think it's all going to work out fine. But either of those two solutions right now on the other side of that hormone dip, no big deal. I don't care. Like, I'm going to do what's best for him. He needs to grow, but in that moment, it's terrible.
And you can know all this science and how it works. And you're like, great. Like, I got this. Like, we got this. My body can do this. But you have this other little human being that no matter how experienced you are and how all your other kids did, they're brand new square one learning as well. And they're all so different. Yeah. They're all so different.
And it's like people telling, like, I have an amazing pediatrician that came to the house that weighs him all the time, and an amazing midwife who is a text, phone call, amazing person in my life. Like, I had all of the support I needed, but unless I trusted that support and let that support in, which I have a little bit of an issue with in life, unless I did that, I was going to be on a boat by myself trying to think through things of, hey, he was 40 weeks.
Yeah. He should
be able to suck, swallow. He should be able to be strong enough. Like, there's zero reason why this should be happening. So, oh my gosh, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with my body? Like, is there something wrong? Why am I not making enough milk? What's wrong with him? Why is he falling asleep so much? Is there something wrong with his heart? Should I have gone back for another ultrasound? Like, I mean, you just go down this, I don't want to call it a crazy path, because it's hormonally induced. It's
down this big black hole.
Yeah, it's a hormonally induced place that we all kind of end up. And it's just this thing that's not talked about enough. It's not acknowledged enough. And I can't imagine not having the support that I had and trying to go through it. So I finally just kind of surrendered, which I think a lot of people maybe learn in birth, which I don't normally have to learn necessarily because my babies just kind of come out of me. But, I surrendered to the idea that I was going to lean on these experts and I was going to lean on people who wanted to be there for me, as opposed to trying and navigating it myself. And every solution, I think I finally reached the point where, like, none of the solutions were bad ones. Like, we were going to be fine. If I had a fully switched to formula, I still got to keep this cute little baby and I still had this wonderful family and we were all going to be okay. And I think that that's just where I needed to land. That
and you had the knowledge and support that if that's what you had to do for a week or two, you could go back to breastfeeding. I mean, like, yeah, it would have been fine. It was going to be fine.
I remember Lindi just kept looking at me and she's like, this isn't forever. You're going to be okay. She's like, it's just so he learns how to do it. And I'm like, why does he have to learn? What's wrong with him? He cooked fine. He came out fine.
But I just felt you so much because I did that for 3 weeks, so I knew it was going to be fine. It's just a really crappy couple weeks.
pumping, breastfeeding, pumping.
So they were 36 and a half. So for 3 weeks, that's what we talked about. Both IBCLCs. For 3 weeks, it's a learning game.
Yep.
The goal was for them to learn to breastfeed a full thing, full time, full session, so that we could do full on breastfeeding, or they would take a bottle sometimes of pump milk. That was the goal. And by 3 weeks, we were done. Then I pumped when I wanted to.
It's so funny though, because like I look back on it
easy,
and it's terrible.
It's awful.
But like I looked back on it and like my milk came in early, but he wasn't removing it, so my supply dipped. And so then I worked with him to try and remove it, and I started a few supplements. I focused on my nutrition a little bit. My supply came back up. And then he got weighed in again. He still wasn't removing it. My supply dipped again. But it's the science behind it makes sense on the other side. But at the same time, I was like, but he's content. But he's not crying because he's a laid back baby. He's not removing the milk from the breast because he gets a few sips. He's happy and he's going to go to sleep. I don't know. It's fascinating. Yeah. It's crazy. It's a journey. Every single kid. It's so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what we were supposed to talk about today.
Just motherhood, postpartum, which is right along those lines. But I do think, and I think through experience, like you've kind of learned that when you hit that tough patch, I think it is a little bit easier without experience to know, like, okay, I feel like this is going to be permanent, but I know in part of my brain that it's not permanent and we can get through this. But when you do hit those spots as a new mom, it's just so hard. You feel like there's kind of no way out, but then like you said, here are great options, that there's nothing wrong with those options, and
absolutely,
it's okay to trust that option and know that, okay, I can do anything for a week, 2 weeks, 3, like I can do it. If that's the game plan and it's going to be different on the other side, like I can commit and I can do it and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you don't have that support with you. I feel like there have been through a couple pregnancies of mine where at the end I didn't necessarily have the support, and it's really hard to navigate those times when you're feeling a little bit alone.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful you had that.
Absolutely. And but it doesn't work unless you trust it, unless you accept it, which I think was a pretty good lesson for me this time. But I look at some of those posts in the group and some of the conversations that we hear, and it's interesting because people are hitting it either for the first or the second time, or they're getting into a sleep regression or a baby's teething or something like that, and literally they're just asking for somebody to say, this too shall pass, like it will get easier, like you will be okay on the other side. And it's so hard because I think sometimes when you're in the middle of it and you're looking at this little thing that you love so much, and you just want it to be easier, but you're not sleeping, or you're not eating, or you're struggling, or you don't have the support, it's really sometimes hard to find that place where somebody tells you, hey, this is going to get better, And I think there are so many things I've experienced in motherhood where I can tell you, hey, it does get better. Hey, I have one that it really struggles still at 9 years old to read and to spell, and it's getting better because I found him the resources, and it's going to be okay. I have one that still struggles with his R's, and we have an amazing speech pathologist that we work with. And like, I can coach anybody on that, but then you hit one of those things that you've never experienced before as a mother, and you've got to source out that support and that village that you've hopefully built in other times, because when you're in the middle of it and you try and build it, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Yep. If we just want to talk about like what's completely broken in motherhood, we can just dive in there.
It's always a good topic.
It's always a good topic. We can always talk about that. But yeah, I just hope that at some point that we start rebuilding that, and that people have that support to go to. And I feel like in a lot of ways that Facebook group is fantastic with that, is that normally there's always somebody there to say, hey, this is what I did, or hey, it's going to get better. Which is great.
I do think there is more of just a general focus on mental health right now, whereas years ago, 5-7 years ago, there just wasn't.
Yeah.
Mental health in general, let alone, maternal mental health and postpartum
so
support.
Just to be able to do it all.
Just wasn't. Yeah. So at least it is out there a bit. It could definitely be focused on more though.
Yeah. We support each other. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? Black Friday at Latched Mama is happening this week. I think this is dropping Tuesday, right? We have a lot
More
of stuff. We have so many clothes
We're
dropping.
still trying to get organized.
We are we're a hot mess. This is what happens after I have a baby, no matter like how perfect everything is or not. Yeah.
And as much as we would love to control some things are out of our control.
Yeah. So,
you know,
in Latched Mama land, we did not have problems getting things.
No.
Knock on wood. And getting containers
They're
here,
docked.
although those other two are docked. See,
I was docked Sunday yesterday.
This is where Lindi and I catch up on actually Latched Mama
on
stuff.
podcasts. So you get it too.
Yeah, you get it too. we have a little bit of a chassis issue. For those of you who did not watch the live, that is chassis. Chassis is spelled with an S.
Yes.
So we're having a little bit of a hard time getting them the 130 miles from the port to here. But
and they really don't fit in the back of a transit.
No.
So it's not really an option.
A 40-foot container does not fit in the back of a transit. But we hope to have them here. But anyways, we had no problem getting inventory this month, which
probably a little too much.
the rest of the
okay.
world seems to be having an issue with. We do have an issue with staffing and getting said clothing back out the door. But we've paced ourselves a little bit this month, so we should be okay with that. But yeah, check us out. Amazing stuff. There's also a lot of like non-breastfeeding specific stuff that I feel like could be worn long after breastfeeding and pumping are over. I don't know. I love it all. We kind of went a little sporty this year. We have like a lot of like sporty stuff.
Yeah, well, remember we were pulling like
Stats from last
just
year.
stats and seeing, and we kind of didn't do as many like long sleeve type dresses and things like that. We offered some more outerwear, not true outerwear, but warmer hoodies
stuff.
and things like that you can pair with your
Jeans
or leggings or
yeah. Hopefully we
whatnot.
didn't go off of like pandemic statistics last year when nobody was leaving the house, but we have some dresses that
No,
we
when we ordered, we looked at last this
like 2
time.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We'll see. But yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Although I
there's some
sound
good
exhausted
stuff.
right now. But
I'm excited.
I also have a 4-week-old. I'm excited.
Yeah.
There are a lot of moving pieces right now. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for catching up.
Yes.
We will see you guys next week, where hopefully every week I get a little bit more energy back.
There you
go. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.